Hi everyone, I'm Lenore Spinelli of Lenore Francis Home Interiors located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Thank you so much for watching my video. I'll be discussing countertops with my friend Steve Armandi from Renaissance Marble and Granite located in Blackwood, New Jersey. Steve and I have worked on several projects together, so I'm very happy to have him here so he can give some great information that you as a homeowner may not know and find valuable for your future projects. So thank you, Steve, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I
You were able to do this and get some information out there to the homeowners who really don't know the difference between quartz, quartzite, which is very confusing, and then of course marble and granite. Granite being the most popular these
Steve,
days.
can I ask you though first to
Yeah.
we'll stop this.
Okay.
And what I want you to start off with first is okay, let's take a 3, 2, 1. Okay, Steve, thank you for joining me so much. I want to ask you to say a little bit about the company and how long it's been in business, what is your position, and you know, what areas you serve.
Okay, Steve Armandi from Renaissance Marble and Granite. We've been in business 33 years. I'm the vice president, and we travel from North Jersey down to the shore points to Cape May, to South Jersey, Delaware, and we go out to Harrisburg, sometimes Allentown. Of course, we serve the Westchester, Pennsylvania area as well. So we go about 100-mile radius from Blackwood, New Jersey.
Oh, that's great to know.
Yep.
Yeah,
so we do travel quite far.
Right, really, that's great. Okay, so now I want to discuss the business name, which is Renaissance Marble and Granite. Now, obviously, I know that you offer many other products, so could you name some of those?
Yes, 30 years ago when we first started, marble and granite were pretty much the only two products available. Of course, we handle quartz, which is 70% of our countertop business these days. Limestone, slate, sandstone, any type of natural stone that is available in slab form, we fabricate. But again, quartz is now taking over the market, and 70% of our countertops are quartz. And there's many different manufacturers of quartz. There's Cambria, Caesar stone, Silestone, Corian quartz, and many, many more. All of which are basically the same ingredient. 93% natural quartz, which is ground into a powder, and then it gets compressed and it is heated, mixed with resin and glue, and then they bake it to a few thousand degrees, and then it cools and gets hard and extremely dense, scratch resistant, stain resistant, heat resistant, which is the main reason why it's so popular, taking over the market, because it's much more user friendly than some of the natural stones.
Really, that's surprising.
Yes, marble is pretty popular still. Carrara marble, everyone loves. It looks great in photographs. It's a timeless material. A lot of our kitchens are still fabricated with natural marble, but if you're have a lot of kids or you do a lot of entertaining and you don't want to deal with the maintenance, quartz is by far a much easier product to maintain.
That's wonderful. Well, I see it so much now, and I haven't used it yet. I've had more use with the actual stone product, such as the quartzite.
Right.
I also have the soapstone and granite, but you know what? I've never been an actual fan of granite unless I can do something different with it. So I know in years past, granite has been the #1 thing that people have looked for, but I think it's more about limited information that they have. Would you agree with that?
Well, the granite has taken a back seat because in today's trends, which you definitely know more than I, the color palette are whites, soft grays, some blue, and granite sometimes is much too bold. The
Mhm.
colors, the patterns are a little bit more pronounced. So, which is why Carrara marble is still one of the most popular materials, because in today's trends, white background with the gray vein, you can work with any different color paint, cabinet color, flooring. It's very neutral, so you can mix and match anything with the white countertop. And quartz started getting popular 5 or 6 years ago. And the quartz countertops, the manufacturers are making all the colors to look like marble now. And every generation of quartz existence, let's say we're in the second or third generation now, the quartz looks more real, looks
Yeah, it's
more
gotten
like
better and
real
better.
marble. Yeah. So, the first few years, 30 years ago when quartz was basically first invented, it was real, it looked just like granite.
Mhm.
Today's designs, nobody wants that type. It's still used widely in the commercial property because it's inexpensive. The newer quartz takes longer to manufacture, and it costs a little bit more money to the end user too when they have the newer design. Just like a new car, when a new car comes out, it's more expensive than the old car.
Right.
Same thing with quartz.
Mhm.
The ingredients are still the same, but now with 3D printing and all the technology, they can make quartz look pretty real.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have a sample right here that I have saved. So this looks like marble.
Yes.
Is that coming across well for
Yep,
you?
I can see that. Yep, it's
Yeah.
Corian Quartz, London Sky, I believe it's called, from what I can see.
Yes.
And one of our more popular materials. It looks like Carrara marble. Um, the pattern looks very natural.
Mm.
So a lot of the clients that don't know actually think it's real marble. And then when I
Right.
tell them it's a quartz, they say, hey, what's quartz? And I explain, the fact that it's much more dense and it's heat resistant, scratch resistant. You don't have to seal it like you would with a real marble. And then, the customers just eat that all up. They want that over the marble in most cases because they know it's going to be a lot more easier to maintain and more user friendly.
So we know that marble stains if left, when something is on it for too long. It can etch,
Yep.
correct? I'm trying to get
Etching
this.
is Etching and stains are the two of the biggest issues with natural stone. Granite can also stain.
Mhm.
Granite does not etch. Granite's a different type of mineral than
Okay.
marble. So marble probably being our second most popular stone, the issues we have with that are etching and staining.
Mhm.
So let's start with the etch. The etch is um, an acid that comes from food products like coffee beans, lemons, limes, tomato sauce. All that food has acid in it. And as soon as the acid hits the marble, it causes a chemical reaction. So the marble basically becomes dull. So when we sell marble, we always recommend a honed finish. And honing is a procedure where we take the shine off of the marble so it has more of a matte finish.
Mhm.
So if it does etch, you don't notice it as much, and it's easier to remove an etch if the stone is already honed. We come out to the job site, we sand it down, and we can kind of get rid of the etch pretty much completely by sanding it down.
Okay, so there are ways to fix accidents with, you know,
Yes.
with
Yep.
marble. So it's not
Staining,
like, go ahead.
staining really isn't an issue that much anymore. The chemicals out there that we apply to the marble when we seal it, they are very, very strong. And, we haven't had a permanent stain really exist in any natural stone in a while. I mean, it does happen.
Mhm.
And there's a few different procedures you can do to remove the stain. You go online and you'll find, different procedures on how to remove a stain, whether it's a magic marker or cranberry sauce, red wine. We're pretty successful in getting all those stains out of natural stone. So the good
Okay.
news is if people still want marble in their countertop in their house, we tell them the precautions. Of course, we seal it.
Mhm.
And some of the sealers that are available today are 10-year, 15-year, some are even 20-year sealers where you only have to apply it once. And
Really?
they've made great progress with the chemicals. So again, we don't really have any issues with the stains. Etching, they are working on an etch-proof product to apply to stone,
Mm-hmm.
and they're still in basically generation one of that market. And we're excited. Hopefully, it comes out soon where it's available at a decent price. It's very expensive to apply an anti-etch on natural stone. Sometimes it's even more than the actual countertop. So
Really?
yeah, so we really don't recommend the anti-etch products just yet. It's coming out, and I'm pretty sure they're going to have a good product out there within the next 12 months. So I'm going to different seminars, and I sit in these classes a lot, and I learn about it, and then I get the pricing, and it's a lot more expensive than the countertop itself. So
So
when
like
somebody,
anything else that's new,
yes,
it's at the
exactly.
highest price, and then
Highest
as it
price. Yep.
becomes more common and better and more used, it will tend to go down in price.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, we're still paying for the research and development, and there's
Okay.
still a lot more research that goes into it because a lot of the anti-etch products cause the stone to yellow, which obviously we don't want.
Right.
But I don't know too much about the whole procedure. There's 2 or 3 different companies out there that are pretty close, and I'm sure as soon as they're available, some are already out there to market. But again, we just don't really know too much about it, and I wouldn't recommend one over the other. So once it does become more popular, I'm sure we'll start to offer it on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just not sure when it's going to be out there.
Okay. So you said that quartz is now really the up and front
Yes,
product.
quartz is much more durable than a marble because the ingredients of quartz are the hardest mineral that you find in granite, which is the mineral quartz. So they get this quartz from all over the world. They grind it to a powder, and that's how they mix it into basically like a batter. And they mix it with the resin and the epoxy, and they'll bake it. It hardens. They compress it, and you're looking at it. Then after it hardens, of course, and turns into a quartz slab, under a microscope, it's much harder than actual stone because the ingredients are 93% quartz. And even granite only has a consistency of about 50 or 60% quartz. So, under a microscope, quartz is actually harder than any natural stone out there.
Okay.
And it doesn't etch. So you don't have to worry about anything etching quartz because it won't etch.
Okay. Now, you said before that you don't have to worry about heat, but at the same time, would you still recommend to make sure to use trivets and things like that?
Definitely, yes. Always use a trivet. The heat transfer that happens when you have a countertop that is cold, even in your house, if it's summertime and you have your air conditioner on, your countertop is somewhat cold to the touch.
Mm-hmm.
When you take that hot pot out of the oven at maybe 400 or 500 degrees and you put that on marble, sometimes even granite, thermal shock can occur where the stone expands and can crack. Quartz can do that as well. Everything is heat resistant. Marble's heat resistant. Granite is the most heat resistant. We haven't had any issues with granite with thermal shock, but it can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But most cases with quartz, you want to put a trivet down because crock pots, if you have a crock pot, it gets very hot, and underneath the quartz would be cold, and that thermal shock could occur, could discolor the surface of the quartz,
Mm-hmm.
where in a lot of cases it's irreversible. So in order for us to remove that burn mark, we would have to come into the house and grind down the quartz and repolish it, which is a very hard process to do, and it's very hard to get back the original shine from the factory.
Okay.
So again, anything super hot, you can put pizza boxes, something out of the microwave, that you're fine with quartz. But anything really hot, like a crock pot or something taken out of the oven, like a turkey, you don't want to put that directly on the countertop. You always want to use the stove or a trivet for that.
Okay, and then the other real positive thing is that you don't have to worry about sealing.
Yes, yes. A lot of people always ask about sealing. Some people tried to seal their marble countertops themselves and they created a mess. And
Mhm.
then we would have to come out and kind of, remove the sealer and reapply it. Sealers are, again, they're getting better. You can buy them at Home Depot or Lowe's or any better tile store. They're a lot more user friendly than they were. So it's basically a liquid. You pour it on the countertop, you rub it in, you let it set for a few minutes, and then you wipe it off. But some people apply too much and then it gets caked on there. And then when it dries, it feels sticky and gritty. And
Mhm.
then we would have to come out and try to, you know, remove it and reapply it the right way. So
Okay.
sealing isn't that much of a headache. We offer that as a service. If you don't want to seal it yourself, we'll come out there and do it for you.
Mhm.
But quartz, again, you don't have to seal.
Right, right. I do have a sample of quartzite,
Yes,
which
quartzite.
is all the real stone. This is a polished, I hope this, whoops, let me get there.
There we go.
Can you see? Come on. There we go.
There we go.
There we
Yep,
go.
there
Okay.
we go.
Uh,
Very popular quartzite. What do they call on that one? Sea pearl or Taj
this
Mahal?
is this is Taj Mahal,
Taj Mahal, yes.
and it
Taj
is
Mahal is a hard quartzite. A lot of people don't understand the difference between quartz and quartzite,
right.
which is very understandable. So quartz, again, is the man-made material where you heard of Caesar stone, Sile stone, Cambria, Corian quartz, Pentyl quartz, many different manufacturers of quartz product. What's in your hand is quartzite, which is natural, just like granite, marble, limestone. But quartzite is classified as a quartzite because it has a higher concentration of the mineral quartz. Therefore, it's a little bit harder than some granites.
Okay.
So the tendencies are people want quartzite in most cases because it's a lot harder than granite. That is true in some cases. And there's different classifications of quartzite. And when you visit our showroom, we can give you, the all the information on quartzite. Unfortunately, with quartzite, some salespeople and some of the big box stores will classify stones that are not quartzite as
Mm.
quartzites. So they'll stain, they'll scratch easily, they'll etch. Those are what we call soft quartzites. And we basically put them in a marble classification. So if you're looking at quartzite and your salesperson at any location, not ours, of course, because we're going to give you the real information, but sometimes clients come to us and say that they want ABC quartzite, but it's really not a quartzite. So we sometimes have to be the bearer of bad news and explain to them that it is geologically a quartzite, but the classification is very soft. So it's more like a marble. So you're going to
Hmm.
get etching, you're going to get scratching, you're going to get stains. And then of course the client is unhappy because they felt as they were misinformed. And that does unfortunately happen a lot, mostly in the big box stores where the salespeople really aren't that informed on the true definition of quartzite.
Okay,
But
so when something like that happens, does that mean um, people are coming to you for answers and help when something happens, even though they may not have gotten the product from you?
correct. We do get phone calls after a countertop has been purchased at another location, and they'll tell me that they purchased Fantasy Brown is a very popular soft quartzite. Fantasy Brown is a very soft product, and it's classified as a quartzite. Unfortunately, some salespeople at those big box stores don't know the difference between a soft quartzite and a hard quartzite, and they sell the product to the homeowner. The homeowner thinks they're getting a very durable product, and the day after they install it, it etches with vinegar.
Mhm.
And they call the store, and it becomes a really big headache because no one's going to warranty that.
Right.
Um, Unfortunately, the client just didn't have all the information. And when they visit Renaissance, we explain everything to them. And if they do like the soft quartzites, which we do sell, Fantasy Brown being one of the more popular. Another one is Super White. It's a very popular gray soft quartzite. We explain to the client that these products are better sold honed, and you just have to maintain them like a marble. They're beautiful. They last long if you maintain them properly. You know, you'll have a really long life, but you just have to be careful with staining and understand that those soft quartzites can etch. Renaissance carries a lot of hard quartzites, which you don't have to worry about the etching, and they're very dense, so we don't have any real issues with stains either.
Okay.
So when you're in the quartzite market, the biggest question to ask is it a soft quartzite or a hard quartzite? Taj Mahal, the photo in the sample that you showed, that's a very hard quartzite, and that's one of our most popular. And
Right, it's beautiful, and we've
yep,
used it.
yes, we've used it. We sell quite a few Taj Mahal kitchens every week, and a little bit more on the expensive side, but again, it's a little bit harder to quarry, harder to fabricate. So the labor prices are a little bit more expensive than a marble or even a quartz. So the cost is a little bit more expensive.
Okay. All right. Now I also have a soapstone here. Okay. And for those, familiar with soapstone, or if you've heard of soapstone, if you remember the days in high school or college, when you're taking your chemistry courses, that's basically what they use for their countertops. So I have a piece of, let's see, come on. There you go. Okay.
Yep.
This is a piece of soapstone. Now, the way I remember soapstone from school was that it was more, it looked a little bit more like slate to me.
Yes, it does look like slate. Most soapstone, Brazilian soapstone, Pennsylvania soapstone, Vermont quarries a lot of soapstone. There's many different color varieties, mostly gray to green to black. Soapstone resists all chemicals, which is why we found it in our science classes. It's very strong. It's basically a schist, and not to get really scientific about it, but durable countertop, and it has a lot of calcite in it, so it will resist absorption. But it can scratch.
It still needs to be sealed, right?
No, you do not seal soapstone because it's pretty dense. It really won't accept sealer.
Okay.
So what we do with soapstone is we oil it with mineral oil. Yep, you can use vegetable oil, mineral oil that you can get at the CVS. Any drugstore can sell mineral oil. You just put it on there. You wipe it on with an old washcloth. You let it sit in, and you put an even coat on it every now and then. And this way, if it's oiled properly, when it gets wet or any kind of grease from the stove, or someone throws a piece of pizza on the countertop and the grease kind of drips over, it's not going to show up. So with soapstone, we always suggest oiling it with the mineral oil, which is very easy to do. This way it'll hide any kind of water spots or grease marks and stuff.
Yeah, it really makes a lovely countertop.
Yes, very really simple to maintain. Anything disinfectant you can clean on it. You can use disinfectant cleaner on there. You don't want to use real harsh abrasives on any stone because stone is sealed, except the soapstone. I know I'm jumping from material to material, but if you were to use a harsh cleaner on marble, you could eat away the sealer, and then you're going to have the staining problems. So we just tell people to clean their counters with soap and water, and you can use a mild disinfectant like Lysol wipes if you're preparing food or chicken or any kind of fish on the countertop. A Lysol wipe can disinfect, but you don't want to use that every day because that'll eat away the sealer over time, and then you're just going to need to reseal more often. Okay. But soapstone is great where, again, it doesn't take a sealer. You just apply the oil on there every now and then, and if you're having a big party, you can just freshen up the counters with a nice clean coat. Application could maybe just take 10 minutes in the kitchen. It's real simple to do, and it'll look just like the day it was installed if you maintain it properly.
That's great.
And
I
The
love
other
it.
good thing about soapstone is it is a little bit soft. So if it does scratch, you can actually remove a scratch yourself with some high grit sandpaper. So if you're familiar with the garage tools and you're a little handy, you can take a scratch out of the soapstone yourself. If not, we can of course come out to the house and maintain it for you if you have a chip or a scratch in it.
Okay, that is so good to know. I really appreciate you coming on. I could go on, and you
Yes.
could go on and on,
Yes,
obviously.
yes. Sometimes we talk too much about it and we confuse the customer even more.
No,
But
I really appreciate all of this information because, you're the one that can offer it, when it's needed.
right,
And
the information out there, you can find a lot of information online. The Marble Institute of America has a great website, very factual. That'll give you all the information of natural stone. And if you have any questions about countertops, even if you're not shopping at Renaissance Marble, give us a call. We have 5, 6 different salespeople there with over 30 years experience. And combined, we have a lot of years of experience and we're all familiar with all the products. And you can come without an appointment. You can bring your designer. You can bring your builder. We work from retail all the way up to the general contractor. So, and we give everybody the red carpet treatment, whether they're buying a vanity or they're doing a whole house full of countertops.
yes, you do. I've appreciated your help so many
Yes.
times.
And we make
And
house calls.
yeah, yeah. Mhm. And I can't wait to start our next one. And I also appreciate the fact that you have a great showroom, that's indoors.
Yes, everything's indoors. We have all different types of stones in stock. And the good thing with Renaissance, every slab that we have is photographed. It has a serial number on it. So when clients come in, one of their biggest question is, do I get the slab that I see? And the answer is yes.
Mhm.
Very good system that we have with our software. The client comes in, they look at the material. We have digital photographs of every slab that we have in inventory. And we have over 3,000 slabs in stock at any given time. And they select it, we write the contract up, they sign it, we get a deposit to secure the material, and that slab gets physically picked up and moved to a different location so nobody else can even look at it. And we keep that there until we're ready to cut the job,
That's
which
great.
gives people a lot of confidence in the company. And that's one of the biggest fears going to those big box stores where you're looking at a little 3-inch by 3-inch piece and
Mhm.
then you have 100 feet of countertop installed and people get completely shocked when it arrives and it doesn't look anything like the little sample that they had.
Right. That's why I appreciate, going to you and being able to see the real product, the actual product,
Yeah,
and make those selections for my clients.
yeah, we have a lot of really good software where we actually can show the client exactly how the pattern is going to look in their kitchen. We get a photograph of the exact slab that they're using, and we lay it over top of the CAD file after our template mechanic goes out to the job site. And we'll send the digital file to the client so they can see all the veins and where the seams line up. This way, there's no surprises the day of installation.
Okay. Well, thank you, Steve. I really appreciate
You're
all of
welcome.
this information. This worked out fantastic.
Great.
And I'm hoping to do more with you in 2021.